And welcome back to another episode of Shadowrun Dragonfall. I was continuing where we left off. I don't really remember because it's been so fucking long since I played. So, crew advancements available. As you lead your team through the shadows, your companions will continue to develop and learn new combat skills. Oh, I've already done this, haven't I? Yes? No? That guy's gotta talk to me. Okay, so what's he say? Lane. The troll patters about, his artificial joints complaining loudly. He seems heavier today from when you first met, and he takes your approach as a reason to set himself in rest. I understand they put you in charge of Monica's outfit. Word travels fast. Hell, an old man farts. The kids across town complain a bit. Need something from me? Let's do that one. I think most are still in shock, but just you wait, they'll pass, and then panic sets in. Few folks of any real discipline around here. Monica kept them calm by keeping them safe. Now that she's gone, they're going to start realizing that a heap of misery this blasted city can be. More than most I've met, surely enough to keep my head where it's when the shit hits the fan. It really doesn't matter that much to me, but the rest of it's going to be a different story. Monica kept this place in one piece. She read the flux like bird reads the wind or fish reads the current. Without her, there's no telling what's going to happen. Anything else you wanted her about? No. Okay, that's good enough. Well, right, let's just get on to the main story. Into the safe house. Ah yes, the new hacker. Let's look up at your approach. The table beside him is littered with cigarette butts and a Darjack cable dangles from a portable terminal set up by his side. Hey Chief, you need something? Yeah, just checking on you. Great Chief, just doing great. It's real nice to be able to wind down and relax for a change. No more worrying about this ganger or that ganger sneaking behind me and slipping a knife between my ribs. He slaps the table with a grin. It's a good change, Chief, I gotta say. That's what I said, not with the games anymore. There we go. Of course you are. He gestures at himself with a flourish. That's not what's not to be happy about. Nothing else done. Yeah, let's do that one. Let's glances. Jesus. Blitz glances wishfully back at the terminal on the table, then turns back with a sigh of resignation. I suppose, but time to keep it short, okay, Chief? I got things to do. How long is he there? I ended up there after an anarchist revolution of 39. I was just a kid back then, too young to realize how good I was, how much money I could have made working the shadows. He shakes his head, wistful expression on his face. And so, being young and dumb, I fell into a gang crowd, and that was that. Excellent. Well, that's all I need. Alright, let's talk to Paul. You chose first to see a group of well-armed assailants entered Dash House's hotel earlier, day cleaned up, so to speak. If you believe the tale, the controlling gang was eliminated down to last man, and then the assailants strolled calmly out the front door rather than leaving a rather interesting power vacuum for the residents of how do you spell it? Dragonfall in their wake. As I fix it as you of Hazi, you wouldn't know anything about that, would you? That's that one. Well, perhaps there is no other way. I applaud your dedication to completing the mission, but I would recommend subtlety where possible. This bloodshed is not always the best means to an end. But enough of this, we have more pressing matters to discuss. Ramsel's expression is harder than you've seen it before. When he speaks, his voice is grim. Iga told me of Greenwinter's deaths. She said that he died in the same manner that Monica did. Wasn't pretty. Ansel nods gravely. I know that you and Ego have had your differences. I will tell you what she was badly shaken by the sight of Wither's body. She also mentioned that you found something in the winter safety package full of old discs. May I see them? Can I hand them over? Good God. Gingerly, Ansel lifts the disc from the bundle and holds it to the light. Slowly he begins to turn it in his hand, causing rainbow patterns to shimmer across the surface. I haven't seen one of these since I was a boy. This is a DVD RW, a data storage medium from the mid-2000s. I'm amazed that Withers was able to find a device that could play it. Puts down the DVD in his hands quickly and switches the others. The first disc that I looked at might be readable, the others are damaged, some severely so. I have doubts about them. For now, let's concentrate on the undamaged disc. There is a little shop outside the data haven. Talk to the prospector Melat when she might be able to help. Tell her. Was this? Have I already done this? So I'm on it. Alright, save. To the streets! Oh, there we go. Ah! Okay. Convenient. Hello, welcome back. What can I do for you? Ah, look! Yeah, and really, that will take very old. In fact, just a moment, I'll go look back. She turns to rummage through a bin of obsolete components at the back of her store. Ah yes, here we are. The dwarf wrestles a mid-sized flat screen display out of the bin. This display has old enough hookups to connect to a DVD player. RCA, you know, vintage. The play itself though, this I do not have. You may wish to try your luck down at the junkyard. There's a salvager there, a primitive man with a crude disposition. If anyone here in Clicksbuster can help find your DVD player, he can, but he'll almost certainly attempt to overcharge you for it. She takes a deep breath and smiles up at you, but you are not here for gossip, which I'll conclude in say business. Give you display for say 200 new yen. Very well, I'll have a package up and delivered to her at Amstel straight away. Best of luck for finding your DVD reader. Wish you well. Alright, well, let's go all the way down there. Have I talked to this person? Kami? Doc. Anybody from the cafe name's Kami. Are you looking for something? A lot of information? That's bad for business. Lisa. Not in the slightest, since you all just moved in. Yeah, I have some advice. If you haven't guessed already, Scott fingers a lot of pies. I've seen what happens when he doesn't approve of someone or something. Let's off can be worth it. At the very least, you won't be able to get a good coffee in this town again. She grins cheekily. What's the story? She grins and winks lavishly at you. Oh, surely you've guessed. She just asks, you wish. If you're really curious though, I'll tell you about it sometime. Right now I have some errands to run. Come over sometime and we can chat over a hookah or something. Ja? She lazily tips an invisible hat to you before turning your focus on combat arrest. Alright. This guy's very far down. Ah! I mean to click that. Oh right, yes, leveling him up. That's sniper. Can't do anything with you. Let's make you Melius. That one, I guess. Excellent. Yeah. Alright. How the fuck do I get down there? Ah! Over there. Scottroy. Hello, Mr. Junkyard Man. A snout old man looks up from whatever tech he is tinkering with to squat at you through a slick old-fashioned glasses. He pushes them up with an oil-stained finger as he straightens up to nod at you. He speaks with a gruff but well-meaning tone, heavily accented with German tonally. Guten Tag, what can I do for you? That wasn't very German. Yes, that's what I want. The little screw sent you on my way, huh? Scotty's smile broadens. Steel wonders never cease. That's not very German. Well, introductions are over. I suppose rich man at your service. The old man raises a grimy hand in salute. Need something salvaged? Some old components? What the fuck do you say that? Felix? I am indeed your man. Wonderful, how about a DVD player? Let me see, I think I've got something that'll work for you. Scotty rummages through the junk heaped on the table behind him. A few seconds later, he snatches a battered plastic lorry shaped from the pile. Here we go, an old Korean player that I dug up last week. 2010 model, a real beauty. Composed smile broadens and he winks to give you a conspiratorial wink. I fix her upper and I got her running, but without any discs to read. It's mostly been using her as a paperweight. Johnny glances back at the DVD player, a rueful expression on his face. Well, I admit I'm a little loath to part with her. There are plenty of folks out there who really appreciate an older player such as this. I don't know what your intentions are for it. Suppose that given time and trouble, I took putting her up back together. Only part for all I say is, or eyes dart over your gear, calculate expression on face. About 500 yen. Yeah, I'm not gonna be a dick. I'll give him the money for it. Alright, he blinks to both sides, but his beard betrays no movement in his face. You're just alright there, friend. He picks up an ancient device on the table, which presses into your hands, places something warned. It was about a hell of a deal. Anyway, I'm having someone knowing that she's going to see some use again. Give her some good use, okay? Okay, whatever. Could have really talked them down, but I'm too lazy at the moment. And we go. Ah, he moved. I've seen some mission coming along. Seems that Amsar has assembled the team in your absence. They stand in a group around the old display that you had Millet to deliver. On their faces you can see excitement, apprehension, curiosity and dread. Rembrandt, have you proceeded to the DVD reader? Procured, sorry. And there we go. Good, this should take only a moment. Amsel disappears behind the ancient display. After a few minutes of fiddling with its battered inputs, he reappears, a satisfied look on his face. It really appears to be functional. This should be ready to play. But don't keep us suspense, dump the damn thing already. Rembrandt went to the trouble of fetching everything. Let him do the honors. Amsel steps back, clearing a path for you to access that antique machine. Where is it? There it is. Alright, a soft whining sound fills the air as the ancient DVD's player spins the disc up to speed. The scratched LCD display comes to life and the menu fills the screen. Big track 1! The screen goes black, a cheerful digital churning spills out the display's speakers. A crackle of static fills the air, coupled with a shrill electronic whine. After a few moments, the display goes live and a deceiver looking man appears on the screen. His eyes glitter with excitement. The timestamp on the screen is 2034-9-15. Andrew and Beauclair. Hear me, I think we found her. After all this time, Friedrich, I knew that she wasn't dead. His speech is jittery, but you can hear the urgency in his voice. She survived the Dragonfall, just as her voice said. I knew it, and I was right. The screen explodes in static and electronic line, and the back sharpens into a needle-like pulse of high-pitched sound. Somewhere in the background, Dante lets out a low whimper. The screen clears and the excited face is closer to the screen before it was. Closer to the screen than it was before. The words spill out in a breathless tide. Taking a team into SOX to retrieve her, the radiation be damned. We will take the appropriate precautions, of course, but we must go. Remy, I think that the body may be nearly as well somehow. She has survived for all this time. The screen exposes static again, then clusters, then clears. The figure flickers across the screen. May not be back in time. Look after Mum, okay? I'll worry about her. And Hermie, stay safe out there. I know that things are heating up in Berlin, and I know you. Student protests, civil uprising. You'll be in the middle of it, I'm sure. Just stay safe, alright? And you'll do my best, and I'll do my best to do the same. I don't know what's going to happen when I step into the SOX, but I do know one thing. If the Firewing is still a danger, I will put an end to it once and for all. Display goes back in the background blind face. A moment later you find yourself deposited back at the menu screen. Play track 2. The screen goes black for a moment, then a figure appears on the screen. Your late client, Green Winters. His elbow is planted on the table and he's seated at. His chin rests on his palm. The other hand is wrapped around a bottle of cheap whiskey. The timestamp of the video reads 20:53:12:25. Your Winters. Found the message Adrian left me all those years ago. Got it cleaned up as best I could. Strange hearing his voice again. He pauses to take a long pull on the bottle. It's good to hear him, even if he did insist on calling me Hermie. Dr. Arden Van Clear, the hero of the people, the Dragon Slayer, my brother. He grimaces and rubs his eyes. Hard to believe it's been almost 20 years. Alright, so I'm going to start recording these DVDs again. For me, for whoever might wind up watching them. Every time I do this, it winds up feeling like a waste of time, but I keep doing it anyway, on the off chance that I find something important. If I stumble into a clue that leads me to find my brother, I know that I'm going to want it on film. I've been doing this for almost 20 years now, after all, no sense in quitting now. Christ, 20 years, all this time, and still no leads, even with all my contacts and all my resources. Oh, sorry. He takes another long swallow on the cheap liquor. Even with my legendary bullheadedness, I've made no progress at all. I haven't turned up a single goddamn thing. Want to hear something funny? The closest I've gone to a clue was a rumor. Apparently a team emerged from SOX a while back. Nobody clear on the date, but get this. He leans on the camera and gives a conspiratorial wink. Seriously, they vanished without a trace. He upends the bottle, drains it, slams it back down to the table. His eyes are rimmed with red. Not much of a room seeing that I already know that you're gone, big brother. I live with that every day. Abruptly, Winter leans forward and reaches for something on screen. Its display goes back. A few seconds later, the main menu returns. Play track 3! There was a grinding sound from the DVD tray and Green Winter's image appears on screen. There is an eager look at his face. Timestamp of the video reads 20:54:10:12. Stumbled upon his archival footage of Firewing's original attack moments before the Dragonfall. Easy to forget how devastating it was. Adrian saved a lot of people by bringing her down. I've got the footage all queued up to play, starting it now. Additional comments to follow. The slow wear of the DVD shifts to a high pitch when the distorted waving image blooms into being on the screen. A timestamp and the display right on the corner of the screen marks the date, July 6, 2012. It's difficult to make out, but from what you're seeing at first, the screen is dark and smoky, and the telltale flashes of emergency vehicles flick on in the periphery of the screen. This camera pushes in and you can make out two figures standing in the real landscape. All at once the sound cuts in. Reporter, again for those of you just joining us, we're coming to you from Solberg. A few hours ago the Dragonfall landed unprovoked on the Sleepy Hands Mountain town. As you can see the results behind me, fire, ashes, blood. We are joined tonight by a survivor of this latest and most horrifying attack. The reporter turns to face a pale man standing behind him. Sir, I understand that you're being through a terrible ordeal. Thanks for taking this time to speak for us tonight. Survivor. Camera switches focus to a middle-aged man with a haunted look in his eyes. He stammers. How to reply? Yes, of course. If you could, sir, could you please tell the people at home about your experience of the attack? It was horrible, just pure chaos. So many people are dead, people I know roast alive or trampled to death trying to escape. My own house was burned to the ground during the attack. My family, we have nothing now. And you made it through the attack. You made it through the attack. Through your wife, your kids. Yeah, we made it out, thank God. We rode out the attack in a small shelter. Me, my wife, and our two daughters. The shelter protected us, but the heat was just unbearable. I couldn't have stayed there much longer than we did. How long would you hold up there? 3, maybe 4 hours? I don't know. We just stayed inside until the heat died down and the screaming stopped. And what happened after? Then it was over, you know. When the air cooled down, the reporter nods and the man continues. We stepped outside. There was nothing left, just smouldering wreckage and this dense cloud of black oily smoke and the stench in there. God, that smell! It smelled like roasting meat. There was long pause on the tortured look on his face. You can tell that the man was struggling to decide whether or not to continue speaking. Eventually he does. My girls, they found what used to be left of their nanny outside. Her body, what was left of it, was slumped against the shelf door. I kept telling myself that I couldn't hear her pounding to get in. But that isn't true. I could. I just couldn't bring myself to open the door. I couldn't risk my family like that. Not for her, not for anyone. Thank you for it, sir, for taking this time to speak with us. Yeah. You heard it there. Absolutely chilling account of tonight's attack. Then the crowd of Schulberg has been reduced to ash. Another victim of the Firewing. Stay with us for more up to the minute reporting on Firewing's reign of terror. Bring Winter's face reappears on the screen. Okay, it's time for a new approach. Holden's a complete dead end. That much is pretty clear, and now, so I'm going to do some digging on Firewing instead. Let's see where this goes. The screen abruptly goes blank and the video cuts off. A few moments later, you find yourself return to the menu screen. The DVD ramps up the speed, filling the air with a shrill whining sound. Green Winter's image appears on the screen. The timestamp of the video reads 2054 10:31. Well, that was a bust. Little progress on Firewing either. He shakes his head. I don't know. It's weird. The information is there. It's just wrong somehow. It's too well laid out. Too simple. Life is messy and feels a little too neat. That's not the only thing that's nagging me. I'm getting that tinny feeling all up and down the back of my neck again. It feels like I'm being tracked. I'm no major shot like Clockwork or Schaefer, but I'm good enough to know when someone's up on my scent. Gotta install some new security measures. Can't be too careful. Winter's image disappears, the display goes black. A few seconds later the main menu returns. The display goes back for a moment. Then the face of Green Winters winks into the screen. He is seated at the computer. Off to his left, an enormous monitor fills the screen. His voice carries an edge of panic. Sam to it reads 2054 1109. Christ, I'm getting too close to something. There's a trail of bodies, and there have been disappearances. Gearbox, Mission, Peregrine, they're all disappeared within the past few years. Gearbox just went AWOL yesterday, and they're all making the same sorts of inquiries about the Firewing that I've been. There are ghost stories spreading around the Dick community, stories about Dickens disappearing and then showing up again later, but wrong somehow. Scary stuff, and I'm starting to think that it was true. It's true. Let's leans in to whisper it to you. I know the stories he's talking about, Chief. Nearly right, put much stock in them until now. Could hear rumors Could these rumors be related to what's happening here? Am I being paranoid? He pauses for a moment as a serial considering the question, then he just takes his hand, slams his fist on the table. No, I don't think so. Something big is happening here, and I'm right in the middle of it. Engler cuts in. That's a bit of a leap. One other thing. Tostul told me a story about a kill team that might be related to all of this. Apparently a decker named Halvor posted a theory about switching to the Shadowrun BBS about 5 years ago. About an hour later, a milspec team showed up in the meat space and cooked her entire apartment with her in it. What if Tostul told me it was true? Halvor's live posted the event. She described her killer, this great big orc with skin grass, then the whole thread disappeared, gone without a trace. Leap, Eager love. Sounds like he's on the right track to me. Eager holds her silence but concedes the point with a small nod. On the screen, Winters pauses. He looks like he's working up to something. Finally he speaks. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. This has got to be for shooting. All of it. Anton was right about her. She's still alive and she's out of the SOX. She's covering her tracks, working the shadows, preparing to rise again. And that means I have to find you, Anton, for everyone's sake. Thankfully I've got a lead. For the first time in 2 decades I've finally got a good, solid goddamn lead. I backtraced all the Matrix nodes that Halvor was looking into back before she got cooked. Whoever's been purging the Matrix didn't think about that. I found what she's turned up. Winter stabs a few keys on his keyboard and an image expands on the screen of his monitor. A satellite photo of a rural landscape announced with GPS data, a set of map coordinates. So now I've got a target, a place to start digging in. Harfield Manor, conveniently located on an isolated stretch of countryside miles away from prying eyes. Matrix records indicate that some sort of data vault exists beneath the estate, and that's what I need to get into. And this is where we came in. As if on cue, a familiar image winks onto the monitor. Winter's left. Monica. I think I'm going to attach her for this job. She's got the skills to bypass whatever security they're running out there, and she's gullible enough to take the job in the first place. I've heard some line about full state security and she'll eat up with a spoon. I warned her, as I got choked with rage. I warned her. On display, Winter's mouth moves parts into a broad grin. Time to put plans into motion, and by this time tomorrow night I should have the information that I need. And on the off chance that Schiffer gets taken out, well, that's telling me something too. Can't make an omelette and all that until then. Winter's image disappears, display goes back a few seconds later, the main menu returns. Hey, oh, I just got a yawn. Sorry about that. When you play the 6th track, a small video window appears. You recognize the scene in the window. You're looking at the tattered drapes and nicotine stained wallpaper of Winter's hotel room at house. The timestamp on the video reads 2054-11-10. There's blur of motion and the haggard form of Green Winters lumbers the flame. Suspicious, confirmed. Schiffer's dead. Christ, Winters reaches shaking hand off comrade. A moment later, it returns clutching a cheap plastic drinking glass. Gulps something down, wipes his mouth with the back of his hand, takes a deep breath. Okay. Back up, slow down, start from the beginning. Winters closes his eyes and makes a visible effort to calm himself. Then he speaks up again, his voice steady. Got the call from my contact in the Krigsborough. Schaffer killed off on the estate run and Matrix security at estate cooked her brain. Considering Schaffer's skill and expertise on site, IC must have been extreme, even by Berlin standards. Security of that kind costs money, real money. Given the evidence uncovered so far, corporate involvement unlikely. The connection of Firewing is too strong, so let's come right out and say it. Dragon is what we're dealing with here. And smart money says that she's coming for me next. Well, I won't go down without a fight. I've still got my contacts. Still got my connections, and the full state can be hell of a weapon for the man who knows how to manipulate it. Winters takes another long pull from his glass, grimaces twice. Time for me to make my play. Ghost stories or no, missing deckers or no, I've got to jack into the matrix to start pulling strings. Countermeasures that I saw earlier should be well enough to keep me safe for the 20 minutes I'll be in there. Winters drains the rest of his glass and tosses it back over his shoulder. A moment later you get the dull clattering sound of hard plastic on the linoleum. Schaeffer's death was tragic. She is a staunch supporter of the F-state, but still, all things considered. Winters fishes for something off screen. A moment later, his hands reappear, clutching a data cable. Better her than me. He plugs in the cable into his head and the screen cuts to static. Eject. As your fingers near the eject button, a black screen cuts over stack. A moment later, Greenwood's haggard face appears. If you're watching this, then I guess they're caught up to me. They will be after you too now. This whispers into your ear again, more harsh this time. What the hell is this? Why didn't you warn me about this before? Not exactly, I didn't come here to get hunted by a dragon. I'm not even part of this. You are now, whether you like it or not, so quiet down and stop bothering him. Whoever you are, wherever you think you're after, you need to find Dr. Adrian Vaclair. Not because he's my brother, but because its Firewing is rising and he's the only one who can stop her. You've seen what happens to people who get too close to this. I'm dead, dozens of others have died. You'll be next, unless you can find Aldrin. The screen cuts back to static. The mentions over the DVD slides out the reader. Alright. Interesting. Yes, talk. The room goes quiet as everyone struggles to process what they've just seen on DVD. Finally, Derek breaks the silence. A dragon, son of a bitch. Greenwater's set up against the dragon. The Firewing, Amson's voice is filled with dread. She lives. I'm really starting to get the fact that I didn't just stay at the hotel. Ego knows it. Wait a second. We don't know for certain. Dirk lays a hand on Ego's shoulder. The evidence seems pretty convincing to me, love. I'll even take it a step further. I think the secret facility that we stumbled onto was her lair. The room falls silent. Ego and Glory exchange glances. Arthur and Derek continues. Just think about it. The decker that Winters got those coordinates from was posted about Firewing. Then she was killed by the same orcish bastard that attacked us after Monica died. That's the direct line between the dragon and the scarred orc in the Harfield Manor. And then Winters was killed by the same thing that killed Monica. Exactly, my gut tells me that the dragon's down there but someplace far beneath the surface. I think that we knocked on the door to her lair without even knowing it. And I think that given what we're seeing, the dragon will do whatever it takes to keep us quiet about it. Okay, going on with the assumption that there is a dragon and that she will come after us. God damn it. What do you propose that we do about it? I'll tell you that one. So any suggestions or any information? I think that we should pick up where Winters left off. We need to find things there. And how are you planning on doing that? Winters spent 20 years searching for a man. He got nowhere. With the help of an information broker. Talk to Eltron then. For this, no. While here, Resident is very capable, a task of this magnitude is beyond him. We need to make contact with Premier Information in Berlin. We need to talk to Alice. Discuss with Alice, best of luck. I hope that you're rich. For this, rich enough, even if only just. And who is this Alice? The most prominent figure in Berlin's shadow community. ex-Schockenreiter. She provides information retail services for the F-State. Ansel turns to the computer console behind him and runs his fingers over virtual keyboard. The machine begins to hum. If Winters was right and McClure is still alive, she can help us find him. The console spits out a stick of black plastic. Ansel plucks it from the computer and hands it to her. Here, the 2 keys speak to Alice. A great stick. Ansel nods, and encoding to yes, 10,000 U, and Alice will not show her face for less. This represents the last of my personal safety is very wrong. Make this being count. Okay, we're doing it. Go. Take the U-button to Ansfeld spelled a fuck German. There you'll find a connecting tube that locals refer to as the rabbit hole. You'll find a mention of find a method of contacting us there. Don't call it that in front of her though. Word on the street is that she hates it. Please hurry. While you're out, I'll be working on acquiring new contacts for the team. Alice is the best there at what she does, and her services carrying a price tag to match. Alright, I think I'll leave it an episode there. If you enjoyed the video, remember to like, share and subscribe, and it's saved, very good as well. And we'll see you all again next time. Have a great day. Oh jeez, I got heaps of karma spent. Let's do that. Let's do that first, eh? I'm not very great, I'm going to be most... Well no, I will be. I'm... shotgun. And can't get that yet. I don't want anything there. No, I don't want any intelligence. And nothing else really. Okay, I'll confirm. Excellent. Well, let's save and quit, and we'll see you all again next time.